What's going on YouTube? I'm D-Rec and you're watching Argo, where I bring you some of the latest Cardfight updates and content. If you guys end up enjoying today's video, be sure to leave a like and be sure to subscribe for future content. Today's video will be covering about 9 days worth of reveals that I just haven't had the time to get to, and I'm finally getting to it now. So starting off, we have some dark irregular stuff to look at. Our first card is a grade 1 called Murakumo. He has two auto abilities that are actually pretty good for both premium and standard format. The first one is when he's retired from Guardian Circle, you may soul charge 1. Really good, allows you to just add soul. Great early game and mid or late game attack that would just be really helpful. And then the second ability is when he's put into your soul by your card effect. If it's during your turn, your Vanguard gets plus 10,000 power until the end of that turn. So really good. It's mainly in combination with his next grade 2 called Blood Sacrifice Ruthven. He's a grade 2 rare with 9k power and an on-place ability for Rearguard Circle that says you can put up to one card from your damage or drop stone into your soul. If it was from your damage zone, replace it with the top card of your deck face down. And then if you put Murakumo into your soul, you can countercharge 1. Easy way to power up and get resources back and just build up soul. Really good combination. I could see this being played in both formats, but I would wait and see what other reveals we'll have in set 2 before jumping to any decisions in deck building. Moving into Murakumo now, we have a new version of Twin Swordsman Musashi. Super good skill that's just, we've seen it before, but it's super good. He's a double rare grade 3 with the Excel marker and an auto Vanguard or Rearguard Circle ability that says when he attacks, if you have more rearguards than your opponent until the end of that battle, he gets plus 5k power, and while your opponent calls guardians from their hand, they must call 2 or more at the same time. We've seen this in Battledore Fighter, but in this sense, especially for Murakumo's with what they also have revealed, super good. It's probably going to be everyone's backup grade 3. And then our next 3 cards are also really important to the function of the deck. So our next card is Left Arrestor. His skill is pretty generic compared to his counterpart Right Arrestor. When he attacks a Vanguard from Rearguard Circle, if you have another Arrestor Rearguard, for a Soul Blast he gets plus 5k during that battle. So makes him a 14k attacker. Pretty simple. His brother though, Right Arrestor, is where the nitty gritty gets at. On Rearguard Circle, when he's placed, if you have Zanbaku as your Vanguard and you have another Arrestor Rearguard, for a Counterblast 2 and push a card from your hand to your soul, you can choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and it cannot stand during their next stand phase. Super good for restricting your opponent. This combination works really well because Zanbaku's skill is super good. Firstly, he has the Excel marker, which is already really good, and his act ability on Vanguard Circle is nuts. So once per turn, you can Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1 to search your deck for up to one Arrestor card, call it to Rearguard Circle, and then he gets plus 5k power. Then, if you have both Right and Left Arrestor on Rearguard Circle, your opponent cannot ride a grade 3 on top of a grade 3 during their next ride phase. In Standard, this is unstoppable. It's so good because in combination with Right Arrestor, your opponent can't do anything. They can't ride, they can't untap, they can only swing with their left and right Rearguard Circle columns, if they even have the hand at the end of a turn like this, with the amount of attacks going on. So, super good, unstoppable in Standard, has some potential in Premium, but I'd have to see some testing going on. This is one of the first times we've really seen Murakumo get great support. The last time I would say Murakumo's got really good support would be back at the end of Break Right era. Shout out to my friend Bryant, who took Hayaki Vogue Reverse Break Ride in 2014 all the way to top 32 and got knocked out by Blouse. But now we've got Murakumo at the forefront. It's the talk of the community right now, and it's just really good. That's it for Murakumo for now. Moving into Shadow Paladins now, and this is going to get pretty long. Starting off, we've got Blaster Dark. Everyone's seen him at this point, but if you haven't, his 2 skills are auto on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. When he's placed, you can Counterblast 1 and your opponent kills one of their Rearguards. So, easy, simple, forces some choice on your opponent. And then the second ability is Act on Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, if your opponent has no Rearguards, you can discard a card to give Blaster Dark Twin Drive. You can only do it once per turn, so the max you're going to get is Twin Drive. So he's good. He's basically a polar opposite of Blaster Blade, and just really good in certain aspects, I would say. In Premium, I could see a lot of potential with him in Diablo. We have to wait and see what some of the other cards do. Moving along, we have a new Blaster Javelin. On rearguard circle, when he enters the field, you can counterblast 1, draw a card, and give him +3 so long as you have another grade 1 or lower rearguard. I would say he's a much better Knight Squire Allen, so yeah, better Knight Squire Allen. Moving along, we have a new version of Blaster Rapier. She is a double rare grade 2 with 9k power and 2 auto abilities. When she attacks a Vanguard, if you have 3 or more units with Blaster on the field, she gets +5k until the end of battle. And then a second ability is when she hits a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1 and your opponent kills one of their own rearguards. So pretty easy, pretty generic. It doesn't really combo too well with Blaster Dark just because Blaster Dark's an act ability, so you wouldn't be able to pull it off during that turn. You'd have to essentially rely on your opponent only calling one of their rearguard out or calling no rearguards out and not having to use his ability. So this is still really good. Depending on what we see from Phantom Blaster Dragon and Dark Dictator, this could be really, really good for comboing with both of them. But we have to wait and see what they do first. Next up, we have a new version of Blaster Dagger, a much better version of his original counterpart. He's a grade 1 double rare that has an on attack / boost ability that says when his attack or boosted attack hits, you can push him to your soul and your opponent kills one of their rearguards. So really good, has a lot of on-hit pressure, but aside from that, it's on-hit pressure, so it's just like, what are you going to do? So it's decent, has some potential, but needs something else to kind of go with it. Next up, we have a promo, which is a new version of Rugos. So the old 10k grade 2 from back in the day is now a grade 1 with 7k power, and a continuous rearguard circle ability that says if you have 6 or more units, this unit gets grade +1, power +3, and intercept. He essentially becomes a vanilla 10k grade 2. Woo-wee. He's very, very not good. I don't think anyone's going to be playing him. Moving along, we have a new version of Witch of Nostrum Arianrod. Much better artwork right off the bat. I love it. Super good. Much better than her original counterpart. Much, much better, if you know what I mean. And her new ability is act on rearguard circle. For a Soul Blast and resting her, you can choose one of your other units and it gets +10k power until the end of turn. A much better version of Auspice Falcon from the Blaster Trial deck, where instead of giving 2 units +5k, 1 unit gets +10k in this situation, and it allows that 1 unit to get over the defensive trigger. Especially in situations where it matters, this is going to be a lot more key, and it uses Soul, so it combos really well with Nightmare Painter, which if you don't know what that does, I would suggest going back to my last video, because I cover some of the earlier Shadow Paladin reveals in there. Next up, we have a new grade 2 called Tragic Knight Cathbad. This card's actually pretty good as a grade 2. It's a 10k base grade 2 with an auto rearguard circle ability that says when it attacks a Vanguard, it gets 3000 power until the end of that battle for each rearguard you have more than your opponent. So let's say you have a full board and your opponent has no rearguards. This unit gets power +15. Super duper good. Throw this in front of an 8k booster. This is a 33k attack by itself. Super good. Doesn't even need force markers to get that big, which is really, really good. And in standard, with almost no means of doing anything defensively, this is going to stay at 33 regardless of what your opponent tries to do. So super good. I can see this being played a good amount in premium, but I have to wait and see a little bit. One of the biggest things that holds back Shadows in premium is no lock counters and no defensive retire counters, so may see some possibility of play here, but aside from that, we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we have a new grade 1 called Abyss Router. Looks a lot like Death Feather Eagle for some reason, if you guys remember what Death Feather Eagle looks like. She's a grade 1 7k base with an on-place ability for rearguard circle that says cost Soul Blast 1 and call a grade 0 from your hand to rearguard circle to draw a card. Right off the bat, screams bad just because you want to kind of keep your grade 0s unless you play generic draw triggers, which I hope you're not, because Mac Clear is going to be that draw trigger perfect card we've all been waiting for, and I'm assuming that Fatalita is going to be the grade 1 PG we've all been waiting for, or maybe it's going to be I think it was just called Dark Bat or Dark Metal Bat. I forget, but that might also be the perfect card. It's either that or Fatalita, so calling it now. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Which one's it going to be? Is it going to be Dark Metal Bat? Or no, Apocalypse Bat. That's what it's called. Apocalypse Bat. That's the card. Ignore everything else that I said before this. It's Apocalypse Bat. That's the card I'm talking about. That's going to be the PG, or it's going to be Fatalita. Leave your votes in the comments below which one you think it's going to be, just because it's not revealed yet. Also, this card's really bad. Don't play it. Next up, we've got a new version of Dark Mage Badabkar. Yes, the boy is back. The 9K grade 3 is now a full official grade 3 with 13K power and the Force Marker. Super good. His act ability is on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. Once per turn, you can Soul Blast 1 to look at the top card of your deck and either call it to Rearguard Circle or send it to the drop zone. If you call it, give it plus 5K power and then retire it at the end of that turn. So super duper good. I would say it's a little bit better than its predecessor in the sense that it stacks a little bit more, it has the Force Marker, and gives power. In combination with cards like Nightmare Painter, this could be something that's relatively good just because you'll be able to replenish soul much easier. Next up, we've got a grade 1 called Fold Bow. This card is also bad. Please don't play it. His ability is auto on a Rearguard Circle. When an attack boosted by him hits a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, and during that turn, 2 of your other units get plus 5k power. A worse Witch of Nostrum Arian Rod. Just play Arian Rod. Don't even worry about this card. Arian Rod is a million times better. This card is garbage. Don't play it. Don't even look at it. It doesn't deserve your love and affection. Move along. It doesn't need you. Moving on to the next card, we've got a new version of Dark Side Trumpeter. So, what was once a vanilla stand trigger is now a vanilla critical trigger. I do appreciate the artwork this time around though, it's really good, and I think everyone else will appreciate its artwork as well. And then lastly, for card reveals, we've got a grade 3 called Pulverizing Knight Daemon. It's the other backup grade 3 in the trial deck, and has the Force Marker, and is really generic. When it attacks a Vanguard, if you have more rearguards than your opponent, this card gets plus 5k power until the end of that battle while he is on Rearguard Circle. So essentially a different version of Star Drive Dragon. So not playing him once we see Dark Dictator and Phantom Blaster Dragon, because this card is the buns. It's good for a trial deck, good for budget players. That's it for card reveals. Moving into a special announcement from Bushi, which I think everyone is going to find interesting. In V-BT02, there will be a printing for 999 copies of Phantom Blaster Dragon. It comes with the serial number and the 2011 artwork from BT04, Eclipse of Illusionary Shadows. So if you guys remember what that looks like, oof, that card was good. So what I think is going to happen this time, because that artwork from BT04 is the SP artwork, the Origin Rare artwork is going to be the Triple Rare version from that same set, which has a different background than, or a different artwork than this one. So that will probably be the OR, and then of course we'll have the new artwork as for him as a VR, and then SVR artwork of course. So, but this, woo-wee. This artwork was like class triple S back in the day. Even for a collector, this is prime time artwork. This was the pinnacle of collectability in this card game back then. This card is great. Even if you have SP versions of him now, they still have, you know, some pretty decent value just because its collectability is great. The artwork is amazing, and it just has so much notoriety in the community for being just that epic. So if you are lucky and are able to pull one of the 999 copies of this, keep it, hold on to it, never let it go until like years come down the road, just because it's going to be more valuable than even the BWC Worlds Chronojet Dragon promo that you got if you attended Worlds. This is some beautiful artwork at its finest. If you're a Shadow fan, you will never let this go because it's just that good. So that is it for announcements from me with regards to card reveals and Bushi announcements. If you guys ended up enjoying today's video, be be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content from me, be sure to subscribe for future content. I'll be pushing more content out as time goes on and more reveals come out. I will be trying extra hard to get this one-of copy of Phantom Blaster Dragon just because Shadows are probably my favorite clan out of the entire game. I loved Luard with a passion. Diablo was fun for me and the artwork was great, but it just didn't hold a candlestick in terms of playability to Luard. I will be trying my darndest to pull one of these. I probably won't be trying to buy this just because it's going to be that expensive. So trust me, if you pick it up, it's going to hold its value. So don't ever let it go if you pull one. That's it from me. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.